Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of the Hubler Auto Group Coach's Corner. I'm your host Thomas Crow, and with me today, my co-host is wearing practically the same shirt as me, Brian Powers.
It's a good looking shirt you got on there, Thomas.
I like your shirt.
Thank you very much. With us today, we also have a very special guest with us in the studio, FCHS girls cross country and track head coach, Mr. Ray Lane.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, Coach, so I'm going to start us out with something that really surprised me at the beginning of the year, and even in an earlier interview with Mr. Doty is something we talked about, that your girls cross-country team did not start the season in a ranked position in the state rankings, and now as your team goes into the 14th ranking, tell me just how, from now to when that ranking came out, how your team has progressed.
Oh, really, coming into this season, there wasn't a lot of information about our newcomers. Obviously, we have a pretty special freshman class coming in here. And we also had a couple injuries actually towards the end of last season. So I think we flew a little bit underneath the radar. And then, again, once we started racing, things started clicking, their talent started showing. And we've been fortunate enough to stay pretty healthy over the course of the season. So it's been fun. No real expectations coming into the season, and just kind of seeing where we are now heading into the state tournament next weekend. It's been exciting, and rankings are great, but it doesn't mean anything until you get to the end of the season.
So who's kind of your top seven, your varsity runners? Who's that been? And obviously it's fluctuated with injuries throughout the year, but who are you kind of looking at?
Pretty consistently, Lauren Clem, Lily Lacey, and Jenna Newton have kind of been our top three. And then kind of a new thing this year is we have a really good next five, and really sometimes even six, with kind of Sydney Clements, a senior, kind of leading the way with that second group. Sydney Woodward, Aaron Tribick, Mia Tisdale, Mallory Luce. And really we have a freshman that's been injured all year, and she's just now kind of joining us, and she ran a really solid race at conference, Haley Stewart. So we feel, as opposed to in years past, we're like, man, everything has to be perfect, everybody stay healthy. This year we have a little bit of benefit of a little bit more depth. So again, we have to cut it down to 7 people run in the sectional, and they're making it really tough on me to decide who those top 7 are, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, so like you said earlier, we have a very good incoming freshman class this year. And like you said, heading that class is Lauren Clem, who has not only broken the original school record, but then the next week broke her own school record. So just tell me how Lauren's done this year.
Again, she's obviously coming into the season, we knew Lauren was really good, has a lot of talent, works really hard, multi-sport athlete, which I think is even more impressive. She's really good at a lot of different things. And over the summer, that whole freshman class, Lauren included, just kind of came in and bought into what we were trying to do. Obviously with COVID during the month of June, there weren't any coaches there. But our leadership with, again, Sydney, Jenna, and Sydney, did I say Sydney already? Lily in there as well. They just kind of took that freshman group under their wing, and we just started rolling. And when I got there in July, to a certain extent, I just kind of stayed out of the way because they had already set the tone, and they were working hard doing things the way we want them to do them. And I think as those freshman groups, and Lauren included, as they became comfortable with the intricacies of everything that we do and how we do it, you could see the confidence start to grow. And I think it's been the same way with Lauren as we've progressed through the season. Definitely not shy out on the cross-country course, but she's kind of worked and perfected how to transition from running a 3K in middle school to running a 5K in high school. And now we're starting to see some exciting things happen in her races because of it.
So you were talking about the off season and in June and your leadership. I know that you've got obviously the core. You've got a few seniors in your top 5, but I know a lot of the seniors on your team. You've got a good amount of seniors, and a lot of them aren't in the top 5.
Yep.
But how important are they to the team's success and establishing that culture that the freshmen can come in and buy in with?
Well, when you have a team of almost 30 people. And as opposed to some other sports where you have a varsity coach that works with the varsity, JV coach works with JV, we're kind of all in there together, all doing the same thing at the same time. And that means every girl from 1 to 29 needs to have a spot. They need to feel like they're involved in something, they're part of something special, and they matter when they're there. And that's where it's really easy to get focused on those top 10 people and like, yeah, we're trying to do these great things with results. We have some people that are out there because it's fun. They enjoy it. They want to be a part of what we've been able to build over the years. And that's where those seniors come in. They can really reach out to the ones that maybe aren't the most talented in the world, but they're working hard and they're doing everything that coaches are asking them to do. And watching them be successful is as fun as watching someone go out and win a race. And so those seniors have all been really instrumental in just embracing and making everybody feel like they're part of what we're doing. And so it's invaluable to have more than just a couple. And when you have a large group of seniors like we have, it makes my job easier because you know that everybody's getting that attention and they all have someone that's been through it before that they can reach out and talk to.
Yeah, so looking ahead to the next race, tell us what that race is and not only what it is, but the requirements to advance.
Well, we have the county meet this week, which is kind of the last meet of our regular season. Obviously, with the county schools coming in, Center Grove's really, really good. We talked about rankings earlier. Like right now, they're like 24th. I think that's too low. I think they're better than that. So it's going to be exciting. Whiteland coming in there has a really solid group. And then really good individuals from Indian Creek and Greenwood as well. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be fun. It's kind of anybody's game. And really, then we progress to the sectional the next Saturday, and it's a similar group. You bring in a couple other schools like Monrovia, a couple of the Shelby County schools come in. So, I mean, we've been talking about if we win this weekend, great. If we lose this weekend, okay, you got to re-rack it again and do it in the following Saturday against basically the same teams. So again, not getting too high on how this goes or too low if it doesn't go our way this weekend, and just kind of staying focused on the state tournament later on.
So how does the state seeding or state tournament, how do you advance in that?
At the sectional and regional, the top 5 teams advance. So we, again, think there's 11 or 12 schools in our sectional, and so we're trying to be in top 5, and then there's 10 teams at the regional, and again, trying to be the top 5. And then we get to the SemiState, and which you kind of alluded to is a really tough SemiState, and the top 6 qualify for state. So when you get to the state meet, there's 24 teams. And again, there's about 9 or 10 teams in our SemiState that feel like they have a realistic chance of doing that. So like I said, it's going to be pretty competitive.
And basically the SemiStates, they extended the state meet from 20 to 24 teams basically for the Carmel SemiState.
You could say that.
I mean, in reality, let's be realistic here.
I'm not going to argue your point there.
And then what about individual-wise?
So after you take out the teams that advance, the top 10 individuals on a non-qualifying team at every level move on.
Okay.
So at the state meet, like you said, 24 teams, and then I assume there's an individual winner?
Yep.
So with the times that you guys have been putting up all season, say you advance, I mean, in that field of 24 teams, realistically, where do you think you could see your team at?
Again, first off, we got to get there. Like that, that's the biggest challenge. But with our semi-state the way it is, like any team that makes it out of the Shelbyville semi-state, like feels like they're a top 10-ish. Like you feel pretty good at maybe having a chance. And so like I think if we're lucky enough to make it out, if we do have a good day at the semi-state and finish in that top 6, again, the goal would probably be top 10, but like we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We got, like I said, nothing's guaranteed with COVID going on, and that's before we even get to the race. And then, like I said, there's 9 or 10 teams that feel like they have a chance at top 6 at the semi-state. So that's goal number 1, just focus on October 24th, and then if we're fortunate enough, then we'll cross the state finals bridge when we get there.
So just kind of get you out of here on this one. We were talking before about the time that you've been coaching and how you've been here. How's this team? Where's this team rank? Not only on, because I'm sure you've had teams who are just as good and probably some who weren't, but have you had a team that you Where does this team, I guess, rank as far as personalities and the actual team itself?
And it's definitely up there. Again, there's times at the beginning of the season, you have a special group, and we've had a couple of those. One that jumps in my mind is I don't even remember exactly what the year was, but it was one where we had gone through a couple of years where we hadn't advanced out of the regional, and it was like three or 4 years maybe that we hadn't advanced out of the regional, and that group really took on that challenge, and we sat down and had some honest conversations over the summer about what we needed to do to get there, and watching the maturity process, and then seeing them get to that regional and finish in the top 5 in what was a very competitive regional back then. Like again, there were some teams that every 6 or 7 schools felt like they could make it out. So that's a team that has a special place, obviously, and then this one, again, like I said, this one is right up there because they just show up and they do the work the right way. They get along. They're nice to each other. They're nice to people outside of the team. Like it's just like you walk to practice every day like excited to be there. And it's not necessarily because the results are just the bonus, but it's a fun group to be around, and they're excited for everybody, like their teammates' success. They're excited for that. And they're excited for the team's success as well. So when you have kind of that synergy all working together and going, it's made this for a really special group. And then being fortunate enough to work with some really good coaches. Again, John Kowalczyk, my assistant coach, brings an energy that really just kind of injects some enthusiasm into every day. There's never a bad day. And so when you have a staff that you can laugh with and have fun with, I think the kids pick up on that, and like I said, it's made for a really fun fall.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Well, before we get you out of here, you just have any more final words for us?
No, again, just really excited for these next couple weeks. Hope, again, I know we've had some COVID restrictions with spectators, but follow us, cheer us along when you see us out in the road, like honk respectfully. But yeah, just any support that you want to throw it our way.
All right. Well, for Coach Lane, we really wish you luck this weekend and in the upcoming meets. So for Coach Ray Lane, for my co-host, Mr. Brian Powers, still love his shirt.
Nice shirt.
I'm your host, Thomas Crow, and this has been the Hubler Auto Group, Coach's Corner.
Hubler is proud to be the official sponsor of Franklin Athletics. Score massive savings on all your favorite brands. Plus, get our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty included. For all auto needs, just click drivehubler.com. Let's go, Grizzly Cubs!